Here are some things you should know. This is pushback. When the plane is ready for customers, the ground crew will turn it on, which will of course push back the plane. Over here is the garage with ground crew vehicles. Now onto the CS100. This plane's stall speed is 120, so if you want a perfect landing, you should have your speed just above the stall speed to have a perfect and quick landing. When your trainer is ready to start, hop onto the plane. You have an on-screen bar that says Aircraft Management. Always open that as it has a button that says Claim Network Ownership. What it does, it prevents seat lag, which is when your speed glitches and it sometimes prevents you from taking off, moving, etc. Over here are some controls. If you don't know them yet, always click on Claim Network Ownership a couple times to make sure. Start by pressing E. Click Claim Network Ownership to make sure again and you may start moving. There is a trick for parking. You can zoom in into the front gear, which will help you accurately to follow the yellow lines to the following gate you were asked for. You should also have your taxi speed at 22 to 27. If you don't know what gate you assigned in from the flight number you got given, ask an high rank or check the temperature board, which is pretty much everywhere in the airport. In flight, if you don't know what plane you're flying for the assigned gate, you can ask an high rank or go to the check-in system and it tells you what plane is for which flight. Now I'm parking at gate 3. Now start slowing down and focus on the yellow line. Try to get your plane to straighten up. Keep going down the yellow line and slow down each time you get closer. Stop exactly where the front gear will touch the first yellow overlapped line. When you have done that, always freeze the plane and again with the Claim Network Ownership. In the flight, you have to play the waiting game. You have to wait till it's time for boarding. If you don't know when they will board your flight, you can always check the temperature board again. The ground crew must get your stair vehicle parked, maybe even pushback vehicles or tank vehicles as well. Stair vehicles for CS100 only. If the plane is at gate 1 or 2, the bus will usually come to pick up and drop off your customers to your flight. When it's time for a pushback, as all customers have boarded, you have to say something like this. You can also say something like this, as you already know that PB stands for pushback. When somebody responds saying granted, and when the pushback is green, you may unfreeze your plane. With the same trick, follow the yellow line all the way till you almost reach the runway. When you have stopped, you always have to request your permission. You have to say something like this. When you have said it, you should get a response from somebody that might have said granted or denied. When it's granted, you may start to taxi slowly to the runway. Have your plane in the middle of the runway and straighten it up. You should also respond by saying Roger. You are almost ready to take off. You need to set up how your camera will be zoomed in or out. You should have it just in the tail. When you're in mid-air, there's no zooming in, as the handling is very sensitive and it could go in a different direction sharply. You should also check your gears and the shadows. If you see them, then you're ready to go. If not, try to turn up your graphics. If you still don't, then there will be another way for this video. When you are ready, have your camera up and focus your mouse at the middle end of the runway. When your speed is at 100, move the camera back down to the gears. When it's at 100, move your mouse to the horizon, and when you take off, you will slowly move your plane up. The angle of the plane should be at least 35 degrees. Your stall speed is 25, so remember to have your speed closer to 125, like 130 or 140 every time. Here's the map of how your destination should be like.
Can't pretend we are just friends anymore. It's not hard to understand when we both
Since it's transparent, you will need to move your camera down and focus on the gears and the horizon of the cruise brick. When you are touching the ground, slow it down to 0. Park your plane at the side of the cruise brick to show that you know where to park during the flight, as you need to let other planes to stop at the cruise brick. Freeze your plane, claim network ownership again, and play the waiting game. Your flight attendant should start serving your customers and enjoy hanging around the deck for a while. When all customers are served, let them know that everybody needs to sit down as your flight will be descended to Zakynthos. On the freezer plane, claim network ownership again and descend. This is how your destination will look like. Now you have approached the runway. You're about to land. This is your moment that you and the customers waited for. Focus really closely on the horizon of the runway, the gears and the shadows and the lights of the plane. Slow down when your gears are touching the ground and when you think it's ready to land. When you have landed, turn on the second exit and if you're still going fast. If you're going slow, return the first exit. The turn-in and the parking are kind of automatic, but you have to control it manually. When you have parked, wait till one of the flight attendants leave the plane, and when you are ready, you may tell the customers to disembark. In the flight, at the end, always ask an high rank if there will be a return to Stephanos. If there is, then get prepared for return. Turn the freeze off, claim network ownership, tell the pushback to push back your plane, and off you go. Use the same tricks as used in Stephanos and return. Here is the map for the return destination to Stephanos. Again, focus on the gears, the shadow, the light, the horizon of the runway. If you can't nail this, practice makes perfect. And there you go. You just have gone through how Erotica Flight works, how to fly, tricks I used to fly, how to pass session 1 and 2, and etc. Hopefully you have understood this video, and hopefully you would have passed your training. If I missed out anything, or if you have any questions about captain training, or something based on that, speak to me or speak to the other captains, or maybe even high ranks. They'll help you out, especially myself.